In sacramentality, we understand that God has come into human form. He can be seen, he can be touched, he can be heard. Okay, and that's really important to form our spirituality, that God can be seen, touched, and heard. That it's not just a matter of mysticism or inner reflection, but in this spirituality, physical things, things of matter, can also communicate the grace of God to us. That's what sacramentality is. Sacramentality is very important because it's at the basis of our faith. You know, I can't have faith in an invisible God until I can have faith in that invisible God physically became human. That Jesus Christ is the incarnation or the embodiment of God. Now, if I don't believe that God can be embodied, then my faith is null and void. It starts at Jesus himself becoming the embodiment of God. And then it moves from that to God being embodied other ways. That Jesus specifically and very clearly said, "Take, eat. This is my body. This is my blood." He doesn't say it represents it, it stands for it, it's a symbol of it. He clearly says it is it. And so sacramentality says, how is that possible? How does God embody human flesh? And then that human flesh is transferred over into another form of embodiment, another thing of matter. So in sacramentality, it's our faith is seeing God embodied in things. You know, now of course, if God was able to speak a word and that word became flesh, you know, there's nothing impossible for God. That's where the mystery lies. That God does attach his very real presence, the fullness of his power and his glory can be embodied in things. And we've seen that throughout history. We've seen it, of course, biblically. We know that the Spirit of the Lord was moving over the waters. He was hovering and boiling and stirring the waters. We see, and just sticking to that theme, we believe that there was a pool in Bethesda over in the book of John where sick people would come in when the waters were stirred, and those waters healed a person. So we believe that, you know, God's power can be embodied. As Pentecostals, we believe in laying on of hands, using oil, carrying aprons and towels over to people, you know, and it's not faith in a physical thing, but it's faith that God can, and I'll use a colloquialism that's very charismatic Pentecostal, that God can anoint a thing, or that a thing can embody God's presence and power, and be used of the Lord. And it's really not the apron, it's not the towel, it's not the oil. It's one's faith and sacramentality in God's ability for embodiment.